guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom Premium. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Donald.
And I'm John.
And we are back to cover a whole new season of The Mandalorian. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, The Apostate. First, I'm going to get some show stuff out of the way. This is a premium podcast, as you heard from the intro, which means it's only available on Patreon for the full season. However, because it is the first episode of the new season, this podcast will be put up for free. Wherever you listen to podcasts for free, we should be there. If we're not, send me an email, let me know, I'll get us there. Feedback@projectfandom.com. And so this will be going up a few days later than it goes up on Patreon for free, folks. So early next week. I feel like there's some other stuff. Give me a second. There's quite a few things. Okay, so I'm looking at the schedule now. And first, and because this is the free show and we put out a few premium shows over the past week or two, maybe this is your first time hearing this, but our schedule was altered drastically for the month of February, and I am in the process of trying to figure out when we're going to get to stuff that kind of slipped by the wayside in February. And two of the things I am most concerned about, we stayed up to date on The Last of Us, so Donnie still has to get a reaction video out for you guys. He has to edit it. Nico, go away. We are back on track with Ranking of Kings, with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But we were going to cover, what were we going to cover? Give me a second. I lost it. I had it. Oh, Hunters. Okay. So Hunters was a show that we covered the first season. Oh my God. That had to be during the height of the pandemic, right? It's not more. It hasn't been more than 3 years, although it feels like it. The first season of Hunters.
Hold on.
When did we?
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah.
It
most things that happened that year, it's just a blur. It feels like it was 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the month before everything went to shit.
Exactly. So, the second season dropped a while ago on Amazon Prime, and we were gonna, Donnie, if you don't stop making all that noise, we were gonna cover it, as you'll continue.
Cocktail hour.
I guess. I mean, I have mine, but as you guys know, I said it earlier that things got moved around, but maybe you don't know. My dad passed away at the beginning of February, and so it's just been really, really hard, and trying to process and deal with that, as well as just continue living and doing the things that I need or want to do, and it's been very, very difficult. So I'm looking at the schedule and I'm I didn't realize how much stuff we were going to be doing in March anyway, and why it would have been great to just kind of get that February stuff done. But here we are. So I was going to put up a poll like I did for Mayfair Witches, because here's the thing. We have been really open with, listen, if we're not into it, we're going to stop covering it. Because ain't nobody got time, literally, to be watching shitty TV and then talking about it again. It's one thing if it's this isn't the best, but there's some parts I like, so for an hour a week, I just put it on, but that's not what we're doing here. We watch it. You expect us to watch it to a certain, a level of paying attention so that we can talk about it later. And then, no, Nico, move. Then we have to sit here and talk about it, which may take another hour or two. And so we have been really open with saying, listen, if we're not feeling it, if it starts to suck or whatever, we're just going to stop. And that has been pretty much what we do. We don't do it a lot, but we've done it. And I never really feel bad when it's a free show, because it's free. And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But when it's premium, I feel like it occurred to me with the Mayfair Witches, if I put something on the schedule and I tell you guys ahead of time and we start it, like, to just suddenly drop it, like, I feel bad. Again, because people are paying for this. So, like, with the Mayfair Witches, I put up a poll and I was like, listen, this show sucks. I am not really feeling this, but I will continue if you guys are like, you know, because I don't know, people may have signed up just for the Mayfair Witches, you know, and now I got their money and here I am saying, no, I'm not going to do it. So I put up a poll. Everybody was like, dump it. So thank you.
You know,
I am.
So I was just going to say, just really quickly, it just made me think, like, if we had not stopped doing The Flash, we would still be doing The Flash right now, right?
Yes.
Like it's the final season.
Yes. Yes. That just depressed me more than I already was. Thanks, Sean.
I mean, I would say I feel great because we're not doing it.
I know. I mean, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow, like
they're all done.
And they're all done. But I don't watch a lot of network TV anymore anyway. But anyway, so I want to start doing that. I want to like kind of get your feedback again, because you guys are super quiet. Like, y'all are quiet as shit. I know y'all are still there because you're still paying. But like, I post things and y'all like it and then that's it. And so I don't know if y'all are, occasionally folks send in feedback. So I don't know. Like, it occurred to me that it's been so easy for me to be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not finishing this. This show is terrible. I don't have the time. I don't want to deal with it. Because, like, you guys never complain. You never say, well, hey, I was looking forward to that. So I don't know what you guys are thinking. So I just think it's only fair if I at least, like, put the feelers out. And that goes for John and Donnie as well. Like, maybe y'all were really looking forward to talking about Hunters. But it's done. Like, if it was a show that was going to continue, I would consider it more. But the second is the final season. And I enjoyed the first season, but we also did it at a time where we didn't have a lot of other stuff to cover. Mm-hmm. And so now with everything that's going on, and I'm going to be honest, my emotional state, because I was a wreck right before we recorded. As a matter of fact, last night we recorded Ranking of Kings and we were saying goodbye to John. And I was like, okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. The moment I hung up, I sat there for a second and then I just started bawling because it just all hit me and came back again. So it's like, I'm at this point where I feel like I need to do things to keep my head busy, but there is no amount of keeping your head busy and forgetting that you've lost your dad. So it's like always there. And it comes at like these, like right now, it just comes at these times. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Shit. So anyway, I would just appreciate it if we didn't cover it. It is something I'm probably still going to watch, like I said, because I enjoyed the show. But again, it's like 8 episodes, and that is like 16 hours of our lives to devote to this. And March is packed. So I just want to know what everyone is thinking. I have a feeling, because nobody's really talking about it, I have a feeling it's not like you guys are not going to revolt and be like, no, I really want you guys to talk about that. So a poll will go up for that. And Kaleidoscope, that was the other show. That was just like a fun thing that I wanted to do back in January when we didn't have a lot of stuff to cover. And the premise was kind of cool. But now it's just a lot. So I'm making an executive decision on that one and say we're not going to be doing that. But Hunters, I'm going to, I'd appreciate some feedback to let me know what you guys are thinking.
I haven't heard good reviews on Hunter, so.
Well, I was going to make a suggestion until you said we're just not going to do Kaleidoscope. But I was just going to say, like, what if we said, hey, we'll do one of them, and then make that the poll. Do people want us to do Hunters, or do people want us to do Kaleidoscope?
Okay, that's fair.
Or
I'm willing to do
the way you were doing it. I mean,
give them 3 options.
Or do none of them.
Neither of them.
Yeah.
Because there is no option where we do both of them. But maybe they want one of them or neither of them. Maybe they're like, yeah, we watched that. We didn't care for it.
All right, I'll put that. That'll be the poll. Which show to stop? Stop both. Those would be your choices. Stop Hunters, stop Kaleidoscope, or stop both. That's right?
Yep.
That sound right? Okay.
Yep.
All right, and I'll let you guys decide. I'm going to leave everything on the schedule as it is for now. Another poll, not a poll, a post is going to go up asking for anime recommendations for our next anime to replace Ranking of Kings when we're done with that in another week or so. And you guys are going to vote. So Kaylee's picking 2. I'm going to take 2 from whatever you guys recommend. When people recommend, you can like chime in and say, yeah, I agree with that. And I'm just going to take the 2 that get the most endorsements. And those 2 plus 2 that Kaylee suggests will go in a poll. And whichever one gets the most votes, that's the anime we're going to watch. I'll give you guys the trailers, the synopsis, so you can make an informed decision. I'm cool with anything, obviously, because I'm letting y'all pick, and I trust Kaylee completely. So that's going to be up in the next few days. What else? Oh, and then we have a lot of video reactions coming up, which is another reason that we couldn't do both shows. So we are already doing video reactions for The Last of Us, and that's for the time travel tier only. And we did one for the episode of The Mandalorian that we're going to talk about, and we're going to be doing that this season, Donnie and I. And then Kaylee and I, the third part of the Attack on Titan final season dropped today. We have not seen it. I have not seen any spoilers. I don't know anything. I can't watch it until tomorrow. So tomorrow, Kaylee and I are going to do a live reaction to that, and that'll be for time travel. And then, of course, we're still going to record the podcast, which is just straight up premium. And then finally, me, Donnie, and Kaylee will be doing video reactions to Yellow Jackets. That was Donnie's request. And here's the thing. I'm really looking forward to that because we cut the fuck up when we watched that show.
Yep.
Me, you, and Kaylee, we cut the fuck up.
Right, but I had already watched it. So
right.
I knew everything up until because I finished the whole season, I think.
Yeah, you did.
You guys
before we started, yeah.
But now we're going in fresh in the new season. We all 3 of us ain't gonna know what the fuck's going on.
Yes.
So
I think those would be fun, again, reaction videos, because, again, the way we were cutting up, watching that first season in Oregon, we were a mess. So all of that's coming for the time travel tier. And
what's the movie y'all are going to go see?
We are going to see Demon Slayer tomorrow to the Swordsmith Village, I think it's called, the movie. And Kaylee and I are going to record a podcast on that next week after probably like Monday or Tuesday we'll record. But we're going to go see it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember if you'd said y'all were going to record for that.
Yeah. So me and Kaylee are going to be super busy this weekend. And then we also have to do The Glory, which the second part drops on March 10th. So I purposely kept pushing that back so that podcast will drop next week, shortly before the second part drops. And I know quite a few of you watched it because I basically bullied y'all. I was like, if y'all don't go watch this shit, because this shit is good. And y'all were like, what you got me watching? And everybody's hyped. We're all excited for March 10th. So I'm super excited to sit down and talk about those episodes with Donnie and Kaylee this weekend. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about the podcast and what to expect. And just keep in mind that one thing that I do is with the schedule is, for instance, the Last of Us podcast was supposed to go up on Wednesday, and I couldn't. I just couldn't. And yesterday it was just, I don't know. I thought after his service I would be able to I don't know what I was thinking. And so the podcast actually went out this morning, today. And what I do is I go change the schedule then. Like I move it to today. And I do that so that if you look back, it's just like an accurate record of when stuff was published. So and you're looking ahead and it's like, okay, they plan on dropping this on Wednesday. If something happens and I don't drop it till Thursday, I will go and, update it just so that people can see when stuff was made live. Like if you look at the past, all that stuff that's up there, that's the date that stuff was published. It's just a thing that I like to do. It just makes sense to me going forward. And again, if you're ever like, did they ever do that or whatever? If you look at the schedule, the date that if it's past, the date that it's on the calendar is the date that it was actually published. So, but yeah, March is packed. It's so packed. Yeah. and then like we're finishing up the 2 time travel tier only shows this month. It was, and we're just like watching them and doing one podcast for the remaining episodes that we didn't get to last month. And I say last month, but my dad actually went into the hospital towards the end of January and he passed at the beginning of February. And so there was just like a few weeks there where you guys were super understanding of us having to like push stuff. So that's how it got to the way it is. And the time travel stuff we're going to finish this month. And then I like doing, like you guys are getting all those videos, video reactions. But I like doing a show that's like just for you. And I don't know what the next one will be. Yeah, I'm waffling between 2. There's that, what's his name? Christoph Waltz show on Amazon that I think Kimberly H was checking it out the other day. And I told her, okay, well, let me know. It looks, the premise looks interesting. What'd you say, Donnie?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh.
I mean, I told y'all a little bit.
Yeah, you did. Donnie, you don't remember?
Oh, that was one of the ones you watched early, right?
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Like it's just like he's top secret.
I know. I got nervous. I was like,
now that it's out, I can talk about it.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. Did you tell us that like off the podcast allegedly? I don't remember.
No, I definitely did not discuss anything.
You didn't? Yeah, he didn't.
Didn't happen.
I don't know what Donnie's talking about. So there's that show, and then there's one. Is it called The Swarm?
Yeah, and that's supposed to be like it's
the Beehive.
Yeah, so it's like
Beyonce fans. Yeah,
I mean that's super obsessive, but it's done by what's his name? What's his name from Atlanta?
Donald Glover.
Yes, it's his show.
Okay. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
So that's all like stuff that I'm planning. I want to get the peripheral and Let the Right One In done first. And then I will maybe put up a poll between those 2 shows and let you guys like look at the trailers and the poll will just be for the time travel tier folks because it'll be their show. So, okay, let's go before I start crying. The Mandalorian. I just want to say, Mando, listen, I just want to say, I enjoyed this way more than I thought I would. Because I forgot how much I like this show. Like, there's just so much going on that it was like, oh, Mando is back. We got to do that. And then we were like, okay, we'll record on Friday, which meant, Donnie and I had to do the reaction video sometime before that. We actually just did it, like I said, today, just a bit ago. But it was just like, I wasn't really, like, it was just like, The Mandalorian is back, and I have to watch it, and I have to cover it. But I wasn't thinking about watching it. Does that make sense? Like, I just forgot. Just was like, this is just my job and what I have to do. But then, like, it started, and I was like, oh, shit, I actually love this show. Right? I was like, oh, wow, Grogu, yes. So I'm so happy that it's back. I will say, though, this is something maybe we should talk about at the end, because I'm trying to remember how we did it before, but I forgot how short these episodes are as well. And I feel like before, were we like doubling up some weeks? I feel like we were playing it by ear, right? Like, because I distinctly remember being like,
I really don't remember.
I feel like there was like, when I think it was this show we covered, and I was saying something like, oh, no, it was with She-Hulk. Because I was like, man, we play it by ear after like watching the episode or seeing like, you know, well, John watches the day we record, but Donnie and I watched the night the episodes drop or early that morning. And we kind of, you know, suss it out and be like, I don't know if there's too much to talk about. Maybe we'll double up or whatever. We may end up doing that with this just because, again, the format, they're shorter episodes. And the only thing is, again, playing it by ear, what we did with She-Hulk was like, you don't want to skip the week that Daredevil shows up or something, right? So obviously, if something major happens, you know, we may, you know, just talk about that one episode and then double up the next time or whatever. But we'll play it by ear as it goes, again, because of the format of the show. And speaking of, I just remembered something. Ted Lasso. We are doing a season 2 review in the next 2 weeks. And then we're covering Ted Lasso for premium season 3.
I can't wait for you to finish that.
I know. You've been saying that for like a year.
That finale is, I just want to see your face.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so that's coming back, and we love that show. So we're going to be, I have to finish season 2, and then we're going to do just like a season 2 review discussion for the podcast. And then, and some of you had sent in feedback, and I still have that. So I'll be reading that and then diving in when season 3 begins in a couple of weeks. So anyway, The Mandalorian. What did we think? This, and remember, if you listen to this for free, it's all you're going to get. If you want to hear us talk about episodes 2 through however many they're going to be this season, you got to go to patreon.com/podcastfandom and sign up to be a premium member. Again, if you want to see video reactions to The Mandalorian and not just the podcast, you have to sign up for that highest time travel tier for that. That's where all our video reactions live for now. Okay, who wants to go first?
I can go. John's
Okay.
gone twice. Or
Oh, look at John!
Wow, jeez, keep a count, I guess.
I know, you big baby. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you said it. This show, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one thing I forgot, and we've talked about this in the past couple seasons, is it's a very simple show. Like the story isn't confusing. It isn't
right.
Kids can follow it, and I think that's kind of because it's Disney, it's Star Wars, that they're going for that age range also, so they're not making it super confusing. But they do a lot of fanfare in the episodes. They bring in just random characters from all over the galaxy, and they just throw them into an episode, and it just makes it fun. The costume design, the set design, like Jon Favreau knows what he's doing, and with this show, they spend money. You could definitely tell that they're spending money to make the show look good, and it looks good. This episode was, for me, it was fun, but it was also, it's set up for what's going to happen this season. You can see they're introducing like these, hey, this guy's going to be a villain at some point. We know what kind of the end game is for this season, so they all set that up in this episode.
Yeah, we gotta get the band back together. We gotta get IG-11. Now I gotta go get a memory card for him
to build before the planet. It's poisonous.
Before I can go to Mandalore.
It is absolutely the type of show that I could discuss without notes. I have notes, fucker, John, before you even go there.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was thinking it, but I wasn't gonna say it.
and people who watch the reaction video will attest to me taking notes as we were watching.
You just scribbling.
Maybe.
Doodles.
Yeah, just writing my name with like BTS members. Drawing little hearts and stuff. Okay, what about you, John?
Yeah, the same thing. Like, I really enjoy the fuck out of this show. Like, it's really fun, especially now, like, we're into, you know, season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, you can just kind of just fall back into the show. Like the way that it was so funny, because I was like, I started watching it and I was like, oh man, I don't really remember exactly, you know, where we left off. Especially like watching the episodes in Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, yeah, same thing.
So I was like, where were we again? And like they showed like 2 things. And I was like, well, those are the things that I remember. show me
something else.
I don't remember.
Show me the shit I don't remember.
And it's insane if you think about that now, is like they didn't show you anything that happened in Boba Fett. So somebody that didn't watch Boba Fett at all coming to this, you immediately like, how the fuck did Grogu get back? Like that's
like, well, I mean, he was just like, I did this, I did that, I completed my quest, he came back to me, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah,
so if you didn't see it, he told you he's back. That's all there is to it.
Right. But that was funny because like they showed you just like a couple of things, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be so lost. But then I got into the episode and I was like, oh, well, those are the only 2 things I need to know.
Yeah, basically.
All I needed to know was IG-11, remind me who he was, and then Grief Karga, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Remind me of who he is, and that's it. Because that's all you really needed for this episode. The thing is about this show is that, like, kind of like what you were saying, Donnie, like, this episode is very clearly like, hey, this is kind of what's going to come up, you know, in this season of The Mandalorian. It was like a preview or whatever, and I think that kind of, again, this is going to sound like a negative, right? And I guess it kind of is a little bit, but not really. Like there's a certain way that some filmmakers treat streaming television, where it's like a season is not really treated like a season of TV, and it's more treated like a movie. Right, like this is however long this is. Like if it's 8 episodes and it's, you know, like it's 4.5 hours or whatever, it's going to be like a 4.5 hour, you know, 5 hour movie, and that's kind of what, you know, some filmmakers treat a streaming season as, and it's good, but I would say it is better, like marginally, when you drop every episode at one time, or if you at least drop, you know, 2 or 3 episodes to begin the season. Because then I did feel like this episode, it introduces you back into the show, but especially given how short these episodes are, it like not a whole lot happened. And when you're not treating your episodes like self-contained 3-act structures, you know, like into themselves, it does kind of end up with like, okay, well, I just watched the first 30 minutes of a movie.
Right.
You know, it's like you just watched the first act of a movie, and it's like, okay, well, but when are we going to get into the stuff that's happening? And it's like, oh, well, that's next week. Okay, well, I guess. And it's like, it's so fun. It's a real fun show. Like, it's really fun. But again, like, you sit here and you think about, well, what happened in the show? And it's like, oh, well, they introduced the idea of what's going to happen. Okay.
Right.
So, like, I mean, it's, you know, Grogu's great, Mando's great, Bo-Katan shows up again. Now that's awesome. But it's like, not a whole lot happened in this specific episode.
Right. That's true. Yes, not a lot happened, but I loved it for all the reasons that you guys said. Again, I forgot how much I just enjoyed the show and, you know, kind of cared about the main 2 characters anyway. And it looks really good. Like, it just looks really fucking good. Like, the opening scene with the Mandalorians, the ceremony, having those little foundlings or whatever they call them, you know, taking their vow, whatever. That, like, it looked so crisp and clean and just theatrical. Like, it just looked really good. I liked seeing all the different helmets. Oh my God, when she was done making that little boy's helmet, I was like, I want it. You know, the colors, everything about it.
They gotta sell it. They should sell that.
They should sell it because I want that fucking helmet. The color pattern, it was beautiful.
Do y'all think that scene was shot on the volume?
Was
or in the volume, whatever, however they say, with the big alligator dinosaur scene.
Was it shot where?
The volume, like the thing that the stage that they have that has
that big
the LED screens.
Oh, I didn't know that's what it was called.
Screens.
I have no, I don't know.
That's how the because I watched the making of the, what was it, 1899. That's how they did everything. Like
Yeah, a lot of productions are using that now. Yeah.
I don't know.
But that scene that didn't feel like, it didn't feel like a scene that would have been able to be filmed like in a situation a stage like that, like that is something that I guess like the big sandworm scene from like season 2, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that scene could have been filmed like in the volume. so I wonder if I don't know.
Yeah,
probably not. Probably it isn't. It probably isn't filmed that way.
Something about like the sandworm one from season 2 when that was the episode. What's his name? The Marshal that they don't have anymore. I forgot his name. For some reason, I would be more inclined to believe that was filmed on the volume, and this one wasn't, because this one felt bigger to me. They were both big and amazing, but something about this one. Like, I believe that was a giant turtleback crocodile thingy that exists.
But it still had to be a big, pretty big room with green screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like it's interesting because like that's one thing that people have noted, like the difference between Mandalorian and Andor, or like like Boba Fett and Andor, right? Like these are like. Mandalorian is very, like, at least 90% of it is filmed like in the volume. Like so much of the like planet scenes and stuff,
right?
And that was one thing about Andor that people were like, yeah, like it really feels more like a larger, like an actual set, because it is. Like it's an actual like set with buildings and shit. So yeah, I wonder if that was something that like some kind of like creative decision could have been made by Jon Favreau, where he was like, yeah, let's use more, like obviously still use the volume, but then maybe let's also have more like actual sets. I don't know.
I wonder if the Navarro, is that a set? Parts of it has to be, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure parts of it have to. I'm sure
it looked like something at Disney World.
Yeah.
Like you could go to Navarro, like you go to Epcot Center.
But they did that even in all their movies and stuff. They did pretty good job on the set design of this little villages and stuff like that.
All right, so let's talk about this episode in specifics. The Apostate. What?
Well, first thing, I didn't know what the fuck Apostate meant. I was like, am I gonna have an apostate exam? Like, what am I gonna do here?
Do you know what it means now?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Okay,
someone who has renounced their religious affiliations or whatever.
Yes. And that is, oh my god, I am cackling. I'm sorry. So it is, my dad is having, they're doing another service for my dad in New York tomorrow that obviously I'm not going to, and it's no bad reason or nothing like that. It's just he had one here in Georgia on Sunday. I went to that one. It was a lot of our family, our Perez family, his siblings and their children, so my cousins and stuff like that. And I gave the eulogy, and that was enough for me. The one on Saturday is going to be in the church tomorrow in Brooklyn, where he and my stepmom got married. And it's going to be like a real full Catholic, mass. And I don't know the prayers. I don't know the songs. I don't know any of the stuff.
She don't know when to kneel.
No, my stepmother was like, I hope everybody's brushed up on, and I was like, girl, I ain't never, ever in my black ass life.
There's a lot of ups and downs.
Right. Oh my God. Oh God. Here I go again. At the service on Sunday, they told, my sister did a thing where she interviewed my dad, and she played a clip of some of his answers. And he was talking about how up until going to high school, my dad went to Catholic school. You know, Catholic school, all that. If you've gone to Catholic school, you know. If you don't know, you know, you're taught by the nuns. They're very strict.
Yep.
It is, Donnie knows. It is strict. It's school, Catholic
they used
school.
to hit us
Don't
with
fuck
a
around.
fucking...
Yes.
They had a paddle.
They don't fuck around in Catholic school. So my dad, that's where, you know, how he was raised up until he went to high school. And one of the stories in the clip, he's talking about how he went to his first public school for high school, and how he was just surprised how the kids were allowed to behave and talk to the teacher and dress and sit in the classroom. And he was telling how he was shocked that, like, when it came time to, like, take a test or something, he was like, and it was an all boys school, high school. All the boys, they would, like, scoot their desk over to his desk to, like, cheat off his paper. The teacher never said anything. And he was like, I don't know how those knuckleheads got away with it, but they would just all come to look at my paper or whatever. Anyway, he told that story and I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, so that's, so my dad was raised Catholic, and so he's getting whatever it is that they do there. I was going to say last rites, but he got those in the hospital. So they're doing that. And then also it's, you know, he was a police officer. He retired as a detective. And so they're doing, like, the 3-gun salute and doing the formal presentation of the flag to my stepmother. And that was something that was important to him and to her. So that's what's going on. And I just decided not to go because it's a lot, you know, like, that's a lot. And Sunday was all, you know, that I needed. So the one thing I do regret, though, is that my family, like my Perez family, they have been, I've seen some of the videos my uncle posted. They're just going, like, on this tour of Brooklyn. And
yeah, he just posted one that he driving around Brooklyn.
There was one, like, the house on Barbie Street that, like, there's, like, a photo of my dad's parents and him and all his siblings and me sitting on my Uncle Tony's lap on the steps of that house. And it's in the 70s. And so everybody has afros and bell bottoms and stuff. And I was like, my family always reminded me of, like, the Jacksons, because there was so many of them and everybody had afros and everybody was really good looking. And I love that photo so much. And so that house, like, my uncle posted a video of them going by, like, that house. And I recognized it, of course, but I didn't recognize it because everything around it has changed so much. So it was just so weird. And so I'm a little like, because I probably won't go do that on my own. Like, if there was a reason for me to go to New York and do a tour of the old neighborhoods and stuff like that, it would have been for my dad's service, but I couldn't handle that. So I'm a little sad about missing that, but otherwise. But anyway, I laughed because my uncle posted on Facebook. He's so funny. He was like, oh man, I'm sorry, I lost it. So now I won't even be able to tell you because I closed my iPad. But he was just like, all right, y'all, you know what time it is. It's time for me to go get some scratch offs and go to bed. But he took a video inside our little bodega. He's like, they still sell Lucy cigarettes. Anyway. Okay. So an apostate, as we said, is somebody who renounced their religious beliefs and vows, and
weren't there apostates in that game we played, the Civilization?
There might have been.
That we would send out to the other countries.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. We gotta ask Keisha. Oh my God. So she's gonna kill me. So Keisha is one of my friends, and she sent me those lovely glasses. I don't know if they're supposed to be for tea, but I'm gonna use them for soju shot glasses. BTS. They're really pretty. I posted pictures online. But anyway, she's an army as well, and she plays that game. And John, you ever played Civilization?
No.
It's so fun.
Okay, so like you start at like the beginning of time, and you can pick like the region and like what ruler you want to be. So I think you could choose between like Genghis Khan and Cleopatra and whatever, and you just basically
new people,
you have to, or Gandhi, right? And you have to like build your civilization through time and through like advancements and stuff like that. And so you're doing things like building wonders and like feeding your people and building your, you know, building up your military, and you gotta, and so to win the game, like you have to meet certain parameters. And so you can get like a cultural win, like you can achieve the highest whatever cultural achievements there are before the rest of the nations or whatever. You could do a military victory
like hosting a Beyonce concert.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, this is culturally you have won.
Yes.
You can actually have rock concerts.
Exactly. Or you can do like you can get a military win where you just basically conquer all the other nations. That's what I like to do. And like you go through, like you start off, it's just like you got spears and shit, and then you got muskets, and you just like going and going and going until you got like fighter jets or whatever.
We had robots one time.
Yeah, that's right. But like the game is, it's a lot, and I don't do it that way. But Keisha made a fucking Google Doc spreadsheet. Where when she plays, she can go and fill out like how many of these she has. And if she said, it is amazing. It is a level of, I'm trying to think of the right word.
Obsession?
No, because that sounds bad. Because it's not bad. It's a level
you can be obsessed
of,
in a good way.
I'm trying to like, it's just, the word is escaping me. Keisha's pop. It's a level of passion. Not even, no. It's, no, because it's not even so much how she feels about the game. That's just how she is. Like, she's just smart. And she's like meticulous. And she me, I was just like, I don't understand how that works. I'm just going to send some jets over there and bomb that place. Like, I'm an American. So basically, anyway, civilization. Yeah. Keisha, please don't be mad. Be mad at John. He said you were obsessed. I think you're just really smart. And
I think it's good to be obsessed sometimes. This is where obsessiveness can lead to success.
This is true. But in terms of apostates, this was confusing to me because it makes it sound like the person has to, like, and I get it, because technically I guess he is, but the reading of it, my thought was you do it like voluntarily, right? You're like, fuck your religion, I don't want to do this shit no more. But he didn't. Like, he just took off his thing and they were like, yeah, you're an apostate now.
I think the choice there is taking off the helmet.
That's what I'm saying. I know. That's what I'm saying. Technically it is. But the reading of the definition to me, it felt like it should apply to someone who purposely was just like, fuck your religion. Like, he took it off and then he put it back on and he wanted to go do Mandalorian things. And they were like, no.
I mean, they should want them. Like, they're dropping like flies out here.
Really, they are.
So actually, when you can't even you don't have any plans for this giant fucking alligator thing, except for just to kind of shoot tiny lasers at it.
So that happened. That gator attack. And we say gator, and it was just massive. It was just
turtle gator.
I don't even know, like, on a scale, like, what to say in, like, I don't think it was as big as the sandworm from season 2. Was it? It was bigger, like, wider, I think, obviously. But I don't know if
it was thicker.
Do you think it was? It was thicker, right? It was a thicker
with
worm.
2 C's.
But yeah, this thing attacks.
It was caked up, caked up alligator
on a Tuesday afternoon. But yeah, it interrupts this ceremony, and they start shooting at it. And then when they were like, to the skies, I was like, yeah, y'all should have been did that.
Yeah, to the skies and run the fuck away.
Right, yeah. That's true. Why did they need to stay there?
That kid, did y'all know who that kid is?
I asked Nina in the thing. I was like, "Is that kid from like the future movies?" I was like, "Do we see Bounty Hunter in future movies?" And neither of us could remember. So.
Oh, I don't mean the character. I don't think that.
Okay.
I don't know anything about the character, but the kid himself. He's a nepo baby.
Of course he is.
He is Jimmy Kimmel's nephew. And if you look at him, like, oh yeah, he does look very much like Jimmy Kimmel.
I guess.
He does. He looks just like him.
No. I mean, yeah, I guess. Like Jimmy. I mean, fuck Jimmy Kimmel. I don't like him.
I mean, I'm not excited about it.
Yeah. I'm sure, like, his nephew is a fine young man, but Jimmy Kimmel is so annoying. But okay, all right. And that thing took out at least 3 of them, right? Like
yeah, I mean, somebody had they had
one got slapped across the canyon.
A couple of them got eaten.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not lying. There was at least like 10 of them.
Really? It was a lot, but they're saved when Mando shows up. So when the scene started, at first I was like, "Oh, is this a flashback to how he became one?"
It absolutely felt very disconnected.
Yes.
And I was like, it must be a flashback because why? What are we seeing something from Mandalore? That's what it felt like.
Right.
But like, obviously not. And then like he shows up and he parks, and then his like the music sting hits, and I was like, oh yeah, we're back.
And then like, but then when he goes to talk to the armorer, she was like, "You're not a Mandalorian anymore," blah blah blah, and I was like, "You mean thank you?" Like, he came in there and saved y'all's asses.
No, you can't say that. He's not Mandalorian anymore. You can't thank him.
But here's the thing. She was like, "You're not Mandalorian anymore." But then she like referred to them like he was one of them. You know what I mean? Like, I can't remember what exactly she said, but like right after she said that, she was talking, I don't know if when they were talking about the mines of Mandalore or whatever, she said something and I was just like, why are you entertaining him then? Like, why are you including him in this? But he shows her this crystal. Who gave him that? Was it? Who gave? He says a traveler, and I'm trying to remember where that happened.
I'm wondering if that happened in Boba Fett.
But I saw all the episodes of Boba Fett with him, but it was kind of background noise.
See, my understanding here was that I don't fucking remember this, so it must have happened off camera. Okay. Okay. So I mean, like, I absolutely could have happened either in last season or on Boba Fett, but because I don't remember it, I'm just pretending I didn't see it.
Fair enough.
It must have happened, and he's just telling us.
So he wants to go to the mines of Mandalore and bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka to...
And he's going to show proof.
And he got to show proof. I was like, what kind of proof? He going to bring back a cup of...
water?
Yes, he's like, here's my bath water. You can drink it if you don't believe me.
Didn't the Twitch streamer get in trouble for that shit? Come on.
He's going to put his bath water on OnlyFans.
Only man.
OnlyFans.
Yes.
Only man.
MANDS. Only mans.
There you go. If you pay him enough, he'll take off his helmet.
He'll apostate himself again.
Oh shit.
Oh, God. So he was like, this crystal is proof. You know, they said it's not poison. It's fine. I'm going to go check it out and I'm going to bathe in it and then I'm going to bring you proof and then I'll be back. Right. And she was like, this is the way. He was like, this is the way. And I'm like, okay. So he goes to Navarro. What?
I'm sorry. I'm still just thinking about him providing proof. Was there a picture like in the bath? Like, what's he going to do?
I don't know. I have no idea. So he goes to Navarro and one of the first things we know, I mean, the place is thriving. It looks good, but we kind of already saw that happening last season, right? But it looks even better now. And we see that they have this statue of IG-11, I think his name is, the android from the first season that had been a bounty hunter that was tasked with capturing Grogu and was reprogrammed by the Nick Nolte character, right? To not be an asshole anymore. And he ended up sacrificing himself at the end of the first season. So when we saw this statue, I was like, oh, look, it's him. And then he was like, I need him. And I was like, oh, that's not a statue. Like, I thought it was just like a replica of him. Like, it was like his actual carcass. And I'm like, okay, that's a way to do it, I guess.
They had Han in carbonite just like hanging on the wall.
Right?
But I love this part. Like, I love the idea that they were like, oh, yeah, this guy's a hero. Let's make him a statue.
Yeah.
And that made sense because Grief is like in charge with his little droids carrying his cape.
That was so unnecessary. That's so like that's not something I would expect a good leader to do.
Right.
You know?
At first I thought he had little wheels on it.
No, they just have wheels. Yes.
And it was like, no, those are droids with wheels.
He offers Mando a place there. And I even said, like, again, when you guys see the reaction video, I was like, why is he trying so hard? He was like, I give you this little plot of land over here. And he's like, I'm not,
little one.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not staying. I got shit to do. And this is interrupted by the arrival of some pirates led by, what was his name? Vane, right? And he's trying to go into the school to drink because the school used to be a bar, which we knew from last season as well. And the C-3PO type of droid won't let him in. And Grief comes to kind of, de-escalate the situation. And he's like, hey, just come to my office and have a drink. But this guy's a dick. He's like, no, I wants to drink in here, specifically in this school. And he mentions how his boss, whose name I don't think I wrote down, Shard.
Goran Shard.
He's he said, and now this may be something I'm supposed to remember from season 1 or 2, but he was like, a portion of our boss's treasures went into funding this place, and so it's just like a whole bunch of like toxic alien masculinity.
And he even mentions here that Grief hired them to.
Yeah, he's like, you used to hire me to do hood rat shit with my friends.
Yeah, out of that saloon.
Yeah. He's like, now you done found Jesus or something.
This is so great. Just like the way that Mando is just like leaning up against the tree.
And when he stops leaning against the tree, that's when you knew.
Yeah, like this was such like I don't know, like most of this episode didn't have any like Western vibes. But like this scene was like full on Western.
I still feel like the whole show has a Western vibe though, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that traveling from, But he ends up, between him and Grief, they take out all of Vane's men. And he's like, now get the fuck out of here. And the way he ran off was so funny because he has alien face, right? But when he turns around and runs, he just looks like a goofy guy in a trench coat running off. Like that run didn't match the front, you know what I mean? He ran all like, so weird.
I think you just found out the secret of Hollywood makeup.
Right? It was just like, oh, it's still just a guy.
Goofy guys in trench coats.
Yeah. So now he was like, should I go after him or do you want to? And he was like, no, let him go. Tell motherfuckers, don't try us. And I was like, no, I think I would rather just kill him.
I mean, the word would get out somehow.
All right. So Mando tells Grief that he needs IG-11. He needs him to go with him to Mandalore to be his guide. And they take the parts, what they were, the statue parts, right, the body, to the Anzellans, who are these little shirtless
Well, he
mechanics.
turns it on first, before he takes it to them.
Oh, that's right.
Terrifying.
That's right. Because he was like, let me do it. Because you know what? Mando is like me watching YouTube tutorials.
He's like, I got this.
I can't tell y'all. I can't tell y'all.
It's the assassin part.
I can't tell y'all how many things I have done on my own because of YouTube. I'm like, I watch a tutorial and I'm like, I could do that. I can dye Kaylee's hair pink. I watched a video on my eyebrows, how to fill in my eyebrows before my dad's service. YouTube will have you thinking you can do anything yourself. Mando thought he could get IG-11 back working, and he kind of did, except he reverted to his old programming, which was to kill Grogu.
Yeah.
And he was crawling around like a fucking Terminator.
And then Mando drops a dad joke. Because he's a dad now. That's using your head.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I tell you, I used a tutorial to replace the battery in my phone, and I did the fuck out of that. So,
see?
You don't even need books anymore. It's all.
No,
yeah, I mean, it took me like an hour, but still.
And it was free. See?
Well, I didn't pay anybody to do it. But, yeah.
That's what I mean. So when the Anzellans are working on IG-11, it was so weird because, like, when they were outside and the little thing came, it's like a little doggy door. He's like, but then when they're working on it, Mando's in there, and I was like, how'd that work? Like, it felt like the TARDIS. Like, I was like, could he, like, I still don't feel like that opening was big enough for him to go in there, but it was because he's in there. But Grief was like,
Yeah, I got knees that won't do that.
He's like, High Magistrate got bad knees. But he's outside. It's so funny because, like, the mechanic was, or Droid Smith, excuse me, was talking, like, they put his words on the screen, right? Because we had the closed caption on, but he was speaking.
Really? They didn't do that shit for me. No.
Oh, well, we had the closed caption on, and he was speaking English, right? It was kind of broken, but he was speaking English, but Mando didn't understand him, and I couldn't understand if they were saying, like, well, he's speaking English for the audience, but to Mando it's some other language that only they and Grief and maybe some others understand, or what. But then he kept doing it. Like, Grief would be like, he said, if you can bring back the part, he'll do it, or whatever. He's like, yeah, I got it. And I'm like, then why did he start translating for you to begin with? Because I understood everything that little thing said.
They broken.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it got better as it was, like, as the conversation went along, I guess, is what it seemed like. To me, at least. And then that's why, like, Grief continuing to translate was like, you don't gotta do this anymore. Like,
right.
Like, it's clear. It was so funny. When Grogu, like, grabs it into a hug.
Bad baby.
I'm taking you.
Bad baby. So basically the memory card has to be replaced, and Mando says, well, I'll go find one. If I get it, will you be able to put it in and fix him completely? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So they're off in search of, it's such like a video game. They're off in
first mission to get to the end.
To go find this memory card. And they're leaving when Vane comes back. Like, they're in the ship. Oh, wait, there's one thing we have to talk about. When they were on their way to Navarro, they were traveling, like, I'm assuming, like, light speed or whatever.
Yeah,
like, and
they went plaid.
Huh? What?
They went plaid.
What does that mean?
It's a Spaceballs.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay. All the white people listening got it. Okay.
I mean, Spaceballs is a parody of Star Wars. Come on.
That white people really love. I liked it too, but I ain't quoting it 45 years later.
45, come on.
Okay, 30 years later.
No, it was
40. It was about 40.
It was about 35 years ago.
But Grogu's in like the backseat and he sees the shadows of, or the silhouettes of these things traveling in the light with them, like alongside of them. And they looked terrifying. They were like long squid like.
Yeah.
And Grogu was like, fuck this. Let me get in my daddy's lap. I was like, hold me, daddy.
That was the shit, like, it looked cool, and also, like, it just felt like shit that, like, just makes the universe bigger.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, and it was something that I'm, like, I would imagine that is something that if, I've read the Star Wars books, and, like, I know what those are. Like,
Yeah.
Like, but even if you haven't, like, or even if that was, like, something that was in the movies that I just don't remember. But, I'm sure that there are people who can say what that is. But even if you don't know what it is, it's still cool as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
And one thing that I really liked about that episode is, you mentioned Grogu crawled into Mando's lap. I like how, like, physical Grogu is. Like, in this episode specifically, I guess. And it might be, like, that's how his character is, like, grown or something. Like, he's hit the terrible 52s, he's in the
yeah.
He's a little like a toddler now, and so he's sitting in his lap and just it feels like he's very, like, I don't know, affectionate in the way that he's carrying himself with Mando.
So it kind of reminds me of another Pedro Pascal, but like show.
He does this episode definitely, because of him teaching Grogu like how to fly.
To navigate.
Well, we just see it in the last.
But it feels like just again like that not the last episode, the one before, where we came back to the show after a 3-month in-show jump, right, time jump, and they had like a shorthand. They were way more comfortable. He has been teaching her how to do things. We're talking about The Last of Us, which also stars Pedro Pascal. So
as a father figure,
adopted
father figure.
So I like this because it reminded me of that, where it's just showing and not telling. You know what I mean? They're showing you that you believe some time has passed since the last time you've seen them, and that they've spent that time together, and all that means. But yeah, those things, I don't know if we're going to see them again, or if that was just like an Easter egg, like you said, for people who really know the Star Wars universe and can be like, oh my God, you guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to do it again. I knew my dad loved Star Wars, but my sister said her goal with organizing his service on Sunday was that she wanted everyone to leave there learning something new about my dad. And even my dad for 48 years, learned some stuff about him that there was some stuff like I think I knew and like forgot, like that how he had taught my Aunt Christine, my stepmother's sister, how to drive. But I didn't realize that he had, or if I knew, I forgot. He took her to see the first Star Wars in the theaters and at the Ziegfeld Theater. Yeah. And the last one, 4 years ago, he traveled even on dialysis, to go with her to see it. And, just the fact that he had that kind of special relationship with other people, and he shared like these little, like that was their thing. Like that just, I think is just a testament to just like how cool my dad was. Sorry, shit. So, what were we saying? Oh yeah. So, those things, I don't know if we're supposed to like know or see them again, but even if we don't, I just thought it was a nice touch, especially because like me, I was like Grogu, I was like, this is kind of scary. I don't like this shit. Because it was like, I just want to say one thing.
Following a boat.
Huh?
It reminded me of like dolphins following.
Oh, okay. But like, I'm sorry, because Nico just came and sat in my lap. But what makes it extra...
What did he see outside?
No,
right?
Because
what did Nico see outside?
It's because I started crying. It's because I started crying. He can just feel it. He just always comes and sits on me and like looks at my face and wants to like... He just wants me to stop crying. But what makes it, we're going to move on, but I just want to say what made it super terrifying to me is that like, it's like ships travel through that, right? But those things look like living beings.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't look like they were traveling inside something. So for them to be able to do that and be that size and have those tentacles, I was like, I don't want to see them again. But
it was really ominous.
Yes, it was. So yeah, Vane shows up again. He wants to smoke. Mando takes out, there's like, we get a little space chase, and he ends up taking out like 4 of their ships. And Vane is like basically trying to like herd Mando towards the boss, who we see the boss in his ship. And I thought, like Donnie kept saying up to this point, he was like, that boss is going to be a problem. We're totally going to see him again. But I think you were like thinking like later down the road.
We still will. But
maybe. But like here, I wasn't expecting to see him in this episode. And I damn sure didn't expect like the Swamp Thing.
Right. And you know who that is, right?
No. Is it also Jimmy Kimmel's? Is it Jimmy Kimmel?
It is not Jimmy Kimmel's, but it's the main guy from Sweet Tooth. The black guy.
That's why I recognized his voice.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God. And you know what? Like, okay, you guys, again, you'll see it if you watch the reaction video. I was like, who is that? His voice sounds so familiar. And this next part, I don't remember if I said out loud, but I definitely thought it. I was like, it sounds like a black guy.
He was in Ted Lasso. Who the fuck was he in Ted Lasso?
Really?
Yeah, and he was in Sandman also.
Interesting. Now I have to go. I'm trying to remember who I wonder if he was like in prosthetics in Sandman as well. He might have been the when he went to and met Lucifer, that big.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean, at the gate.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he gets the fuck out of there, and like Donnie said, this guy Shard is probably somebody we're going to see again, and he heads for what?
You call him Shard. I keep hearing Shard.
Oh. Is his name Shard, though? Am I saying it right?
Shard. It's Goran Shard.
Shard. He goes to... Is it... Oh, my God. Don't yell at me. I'm specifically thinking of people like Ryan Reisman, who freaking, like, knows the Bad Batch and Clone Wars and Rebels. And I don't know the name of this place. I wrote Kevlar. Like Kevlar, Kevlar. I don't remember I'll get it for next week. But he goes there, and there's a big old Mandalorian mansion there, and Bo-Katan is sitting on this throne at the end of a very ridiculously long hall. Just chilling. Just lounging. And this was particularly interesting because, like, her appearance and how she was when you find out that she has no more followers. Because if you remember, the Mandalorians were split because at some point, some of them, as she puts it, like joined a cult. Like the following, like that whole, the armorer and all her people, and this is the way, that's like a subset, I guess, of the original Mandalorians. And so they've had beef. And because she didn't retrieve the dark saber, is that what it's called? Did I say that right? Dark saber. From Mando and Gideon, who we learn is sent to a war tribunal. I don't know. Giancarlo Esposito is very busy. We may not see him again. I don't know. But because
he's over there working on something else. So,
he's in Kaleidoscope.
He's kaleidoscoping it up. So
yeah,
he's not going to be here for a few episodes.
But because she didn't retrieve that, her followers left her. And then he was like, what happened to the fleet? Because I forgot that they took that ship. Remember? They stole one of the not the Federation Empire. I don't know, but they stole one of their ships. Remember? And he let her keep it. And she's like, yeah, they're just off doing hood rat shit with their friends in the galaxy. And she doesn't think
because she didn't have the sword. She's like, I couldn't keep him because I didn't have the sword.
And then he was like, she asked him, do you have it? And I was like, no. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, he does?
The dark saber.
I completely forgot that he has it. She was like, well, you go show him that and they'll do whatever you want. Now, see, if he was smart, he would do that so they would go with him to Mandalore. Right?
Yeah.
He ain't that smart, though.
I don't know, because it feels like I don't know what the fuck he's gonna find on Mandalore. Because there's the whole thing, everybody thinks it's poison. And he's like, I'm gonna prove that it's not poison. I'm gonna go take a swim in Lake Minnetonka. This is the way. She's like, have fun.
I was like, how are you gonna prove that? You just gonna take your helmet off and breathe it in? Mm-hmm. Like, how are you gonna prove this?
He's gonna send Grogu out first.
I was like, you prove your worth or whatever.
Yes. Earn your keep, kid.
This is the way.
This is the way, kid.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, she's like, you're a fool. He's like, that may be, but this is the way. He leaves. And that's the end of the episode. And I was like, Jesus.
He's like, this is the way out, right? Like, this is the exit because I'm going to leave. In Sandman, that guy was Wyvern. Does that sound familiar to you?
No, that didn't help at all.
It was like he's like a big statue, like a winged statue with a bird head.
No.
He had to been in hell. I don't know.
He was just a voice. He wasn't a character. Like he wasn't. He didn't do the body. He was...
Got it. Yeah, so that's it. He's headed for... Well, he can't be going to Mandalore right now because he's still got to get that memory card.
Right, yeah, he's got to get the robot. So he's on a side mission to get that.
So this is like the way that I play like Grand Theft Auto. It's like you accept the side mission, but then you're like, yeah, but I got to go do this other, like the main mission.
Oh no! See, I don't like.
Better off if you do all this.
But yeah, I go the opposite. I don't do the main missions at all. I just do side missions.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it depends on what type of game it is, but like I do the side missions until I need to go do the main. Do you get what I'm saying? Like to move the store. Exactly. So it's like if you have all these different quests, once those quests are done and there's nothing else to do, like you have to do this to be able to like move forward or whatever, then. But yes, I can't. Like having undone, unchecked side missions while doing the main story just makes my ass itch. I can't.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's just like I cannot. Like, if you give me an open world, it's so hard for me to be like, oh, okay, well, I've got to go do this mission. It's like, well, I don't got to do shit.
You're just running around.
Yeah, I can just go over here and do these things. Like I can just walk to the street. I can just drive my car and listen to this radio station. And that's what I've never actually finished a Grand Theft Auto game.
So you just be driving around doing hood rat shit with your friends.
Yeah, like you got like the stuff where it's like it's the side missions and shit where it's like, oh yeah, do this stunt. And it's like, all right, I'm going to flip my fucking car. It's like, oh, I'm going to try to go to the upper corner of the map. And it's like in San Andreas, because I haven't played 5, but in San Andreas, like I know the map is locked off. And if you go, you can get to the other parts of the map, like if you get in an airplane or something. Mm-hmm. But like as soon as you go there, you get like 5 stars against the cops. And
right.
They start like going after you. But like that's the only way you can go to like the casino, and unless you play the game, which I don't.
Right.
It's like in Saints Row, like when the cops are chasing you, you can like run to this or drive to this garage and pay to have them like change your car.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you go in and then like the alerts go down.
Right.
You come out with a different, like your car's painted a different color because the cops are stupid, I guess. Yeah, so that's it. We didn't watch anything. I don't know if there's like Nico, stop. I don't know if there's like extra stuff like scenes for next week or behind the scenes stuff, but we didn't watch any of it if there was. So I don't know what to expect.
No, there was. I checked. Yeah. There wasn't any.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't show anything immediately after the episode, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Now there will be the like on their social media and stuff. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so I should explain. This dog is in my lap with his head in my crotch, and he's like pawing at my thighs, just like what he's trying to do. What are you trying to do? He got his little butt up in the air. His butt's right in front of the mic. Okay, now I'm scratching like his back, and he's on his side. His legs are just kicking up in the air. He's licking my leg. He's just, ugh. Hi, baby. I'm not sad right now. I love you too. Anyways, so that's it. Let me check and make sure we don't have any feedback before I close this down. I hear you. I hear you panting. No.
I like that they were like, the show was like, oh, everybody liked IG-11. Let's just bring him back.
Yeah, figure out a way to bring him back. I'm here for it.
let's just bring that guy back. Everybody liked him.
And they're making him like kind of work for it, right? Like it's like not easy. Like, oh, it just happens to turn on. Like, no, he's got to make him work for it. Hi, handsome pup. Hi.
I thought the visual of Mando sitting crisscross applesauce in that tiny room was funny.
Oh, they mentioned that Gina Carano got canceled.
Yeah, they sent her off.
Sent her ass off to that show that ain't coming. I don't think we're getting that show anymore, right?
No.
Yeah, the Rangers or New Republic. I don't know, some shit. Whatever she joined, but
we are supposed to get a Boca Raton show though.
But that makes me. Are we?
I thought so.
I think you're making shit up. But ow, Nico. That makes me sad because sorry, he nipped my thigh. That makes me sad because I thought, oh god, I can't think of his name, but the dad from Kim's Convenience, remember him? Mm-hmm. Like he's the one who convinced her character to join them, right? And I thought like he would be in that show. I think so. Maybe I don't know. I hope we're getting the show without her because that would be nice.
So we have Ahsoka, right? Mm-hmm. We have Mando. I don't think there's going to be another Boba Fett, but maybe. You got the Bad Batch.
No more Obi-Wan, right?
I don't think there's anything announced, but there could totally be more Obi-Wan. And
I'd watch the fuck out of that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And then they have the show that John Watts is doing, the guy who did Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. Mm-hmm. He's doing Skeleton Crew, is what it's called.
I don't know who's that.
And it's the same time frame as The Mandalorian.
Okay. So I guess we're
it's
not
got Jude Law in it.
Hi. You are so cute. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it looks like the only thing that's confirmed is that Jude Law is in it. That's really the only thing.
Okay.
But it's supposed to come out this year, so.
You guys, I have the cutest dog in the world. Hi, baby. He loves me so much. All right. So that's it, you guys. We will see what next week's episode brings. If it's good, we can find some time, carve out an hour or so to sit down and talk about it. If not, if it's like not a lot happens, or if I am just, I almost said something that would have caused concern. If I'm just not up to it, then, we'll double up. But we're definitely in. We're definitely covering it. Look out for those of you on Patreon. look out for those polls that I mentioned, those posts at the beginning of the show to help us decide, what we're going to do going forward with a couple of shows to help us decide on our next anime. And yeah, check the schedule because when we make those decisions, when we decide what we're covering, not covering, whatever, I will update that calendar. You go to projectfandom.com and click on the schedule tab at the top. And I believe that is it. That's all I got. I'm going to go try not to cry anymore today. I really wish tears ran out. You know how
I think there's at least 3 or 4 songs about that.
Really? I just wish that you could they were you just oh, your body, that's it. That's all the tears you got for today. You got to wait another 24 hours for your body to make more.
That would be great.
Right? Because then I would just but no, because that would be because you would still feel it. So then you're just sitting there sobbing with nothing coming out.
I don't know. If you compare that to when your nose is running, and it's if your nose stops running, you still feel it, but at least you don't have snot running all over.
This is true. Yeah. Okay. So I go back to I wish tears ran out. I wish they were yeah, you only produce a certain amount of tears, sad tears. Your eyes could still produce tears for other stuff, right? When it needs
happy
to.
Tears.
Yeah, happy tears.
like keeping your eyes from drying out.
Yeah, exactly. But to cry, it's nope, Nina, that's it. You cried for an hour today. That's it. That's you. You ran out. You cry again tomorrow. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. My dog's about to cut up, so we will talk to you next time.